Okay, so this is a video about Syfy's new series, 12 Monkeys. Now, I want to warn you ahead of time, if you come across this video, it will have spoilers from the first episode, the pilot, which is the only one they've had so far. And so here goes. First of all, I want to say that 12 Monkeys is my favorite movie. It is the movie that I've watched the most in my life, in the theater and out of the theater. I love this movie. I saw it 11 times in the theater, was going for 12 but didn't make it, and then I watched it on VHS, yes, VHS, the 12th time, and then from then on I just watched it whenever I wanted. I often quote the movie. I think of the movie a lot. It's kind of something that's on my mind daily all the time. It's one of the best movies I've seen. And so you can imagine, when I heard that Syfy was going to do a show about it, I was very excited about it. Well, so I decided to sit down last night and check it out on demand, because I didn't catch it when it premiered. And immediately I was kind of like, oh wow, so they're skipping. First of all, they're changing the characters' names. They're skipping ahead scenes and changing major plot lines, changing characters by gender, and I was starting to get disappointed, but I was holding on. I was trying to look at it with a skeptical eye and be like, okay, let's just sit here and watch this and see what happens. I'm one of the type of people that watched it so much that I memorized the lines, so I know exactly what lines are said in what scene of the movie. So therefore, when I saw a certain scene, I knew that that dialogue was said during the scene where James Cole is in the cell when he first meets Catherine Riley, not Cassandra, and that whole exchange goes about him saying that it's the future and everybody's dead and stuff like that. That was done in a completely different scene, in a completely different way, but almost the same dialogue. That bothered me. But I was like, okay, well, that's okay. They switch it around. The show is loosely based, and I want to emphasize loosely based on the movie 12 Monkeys. And that became even more evident as the episode progressed. So pretty much it pissed me off. I was not at all happy with it. First of all, I was trying to gain some liking for the actor that they portrayed as James Cole. I love the character James Cole. I didn't even care that this wasn't like major blockbuster actors or anything. I didn't care that it was someone else playing the role. I was like, well, let's see, I don't mind. The same characters, different actor, I can deal with that. But he's very unlikable. I do not have any liking or feeling toward him other than the fact that he's annoying and boring, and he just doesn't seem right for the role. So this is my opinion. If you like him, that's your choice. But I don't care for the actor. The woman they got to play Cassandra Riley, she's okay. I've seen her in other things. I remember her on an episode of Grimm. She's okay, I could have dealt with it, but it just seems off and wrong. The way that they met, was completely off. The fact that she's not a psychiatrist bothered me a lot, because I'm a big fan of movies that have to do with asylums, insanity, and psychological things, and 12 Monkeys had a lot of that in it, and she was a psychologist. And so the fact that she wasn't, and they made her I think that I want to say a virologist, they made her work for the CDC and all that, it's like, come on, that's not it, you know. It just, you might as well not even made her a doctor. I mean, it's just stupid. So, then we see some scenes from Cole's future, which weren't done particularly well, but the only scene that was done well was where, you know, he was going to be going back and forth. And that was okay, but they just had him fully dressed and everything, and they didn't prepare him, and I don't know, it just seems weird. It just seemed really, really weird the way they did it. So they got this woman who's one of the scientists who's supposed to be the one woman in the movie, obviously, and she's doing a terrible job with her accent. I'm sorry if that's her real accent, but I just don't buy it. And they have one guy with glasses on, one of the scientists, that actually pretty much resembles one of the guys in the movie. They did a good job with that, I guess. So then we got other, you know, characters that are thrown in there, and we got what is his name? We got Leland Frost, who, aka, which they found out was not Frost, but Leland Goins. I remember this actor from The Event, so he's a cool actor. I like him, but I just didn't buy him as this big time scientist who was creating a virus. I don't know what it was about him. He rubbed me the wrong way, and he just seemed like too much of a bad guy, because I really don't feel like Jeffrey Goins' father in the movie really kind of knew what he was doing. It's like, I think he was kind of creating something, but it got out of hand, and that other guy, no, the creepy red-haired dude, he, you know, was the one to spread it around. But that's a whole other subject. The point is, I just didn't really buy him. And here's my major gripe for this. I have two major gripes. One major gripe is that they completely changed the plot line of the show compared to the movie. In the movie, James Cole specifically states that you can't say, it won't save anybody, and that everybody's already dead, and he's not coming to save the world, that he was sent to gather information about the virus so that he can use it and tell the scientists, and they can find a cure so that everybody can come back up to the surface and live again. It has nothing to do with what the show is saying. The show is saying, okay, if we stop the virus from happening or kill the person who is responsible for the virus, then maybe it won't ever happen, and so there will be no virus. And James in the show even mentions that I won't even exist. I won't exist. I'll just disappear. I won't be anything. I will have never, been. I'll be erased. What? I mean, that's stupid. It's completely off. I mean, okay, yeah, the people in the future, they could care that much about humanity if they want to go back, stop a virus so that world doesn't end up like this, but do they really have that much of an investment in it if they know that there's a possibility that they could have never existed, or their futures would be drastically different if the virus never happened? I don't think so. I don't think they would do that. I mean, it's a complete turnaround. It's just they completely missed the truth of what the movie was. And that's what I liked about 12 Monkeys, is because they weren't trying to stop the virus. They were just trying to learn about it so that they can take care of people in the future. It wasn't about going back and changing, because 12 Monkeys was a little different than most time travel movies, where it would actually say you couldn't change anything. But you could go into the past and you can find out stuff, but you couldn't change it. And another gripe that I had about it was that this James Cole in the show seemed to have more knowledge than James Cole of the movie. Like, he was almost a scientist himself, because he knew about the space-time continuum. He knew a lot of things that our James Cole in the movie was not really aware of, like the whole thing about the watch, and if you put two items together from different times, and they'll just explode because there'll be some, because they're not supposed to be together, it will cause this bad thing to happen. That, sure, maybe that'd be cool in another movie, but not for this movie. I mean, for this show. Not for what we already know from 12 Monkeys the movie. So my last major gripe about this was, okay, I was going to complete this episode. As the episode went on, I closer and closer got to the point where I was like, you know what? I really don't like this. I really don't like James Cole's character in this, the way they portrayed him. This is stupid. And I don't like how they call it splintering. I think that's really stupid, how he leaves, and comes back through time and stuff. That, I don't know. It was better when there wasn't a name for it. It's like they're trying to create a whole other universe and world of 12 Monkeys that never was there. And that's what's making me upset, that it's so loosely based. So I was sitting here thinking, okay, I will watch one more episode, give it a chance, see if it redeems itself in the second episode, until the last scene. Now here's the spoiler, major spoiler alert. Major spoiler alert for pilot episode of 12 Monkeys on Syfy. They show a obviously institution, mental institution, and someone is drawing on the wall. This guy comes in, talks to them, says your father was killed, he left you everything, he really would like you to carry on his work, yada yada yada. So I'm thinking, oh yay, maybe the show's going to redeem itself. Here's Jeffrey Goins, my favorite characters in 12 Monkeys. Here's Jeffrey. I was really excited to see who were going to get to play him. Then the guy says Jennifer. Jennifer. Not Jeffrey. Jennifer. Jennifer Goins. They totally switched genders on us. From Jeffrey Goins to Jennifer Goins. And I'm like, that was it for me. That was the last straw. I was like, no, I'm not watching this show. This is crap. That's the biggest, besides the plot line, that was something that caused me to be like, no, that's it. This is crap. They just took my favorite movie and ruined it by trying to put it into a stupid show that makes no sense. And it's just thrown together. I don't buy it, I don't like it, and I don't want it. So Syfy, you can take your 12 Monkeys and do whatever you want with it, because I do not like it. The only thing I liked about it was the logos and the graphics in the beginning theme of it. That's the only thing I liked about it. And it just upsets me because I was actually excited about the show. I was excited that they might like show even a backstory. They could have even done a backstory of when Cole was a kid and how the virus happened and showed more of it. But it's just pieced together and it's so gappy. And we're just expected to believe this. If we're a 12 Monkeys movie fan, we're just expected to accept these other things. We're expected to accept a female Jeffrey Goins or Jennifer Goins. It's just not right, and it pisses me off to no end. So I will not be tuning in Syfy for your stupid arse version of 12 Monkeys, which doesn't even deserve to be called 12 Monkeys, so I'm not going to call it that. It's called crap. Okay, I'm done griping. Thanks for watching. Later.